Alright guys, welcome back. Got some pretty cool news that we get to share with you guys finally. We've been waiting well over a month to talk about this, and we finally get a chance to. So we were lucky enough to be selected by MOTORTREND, by Dodge, to go to an event that MOTORTREND puts on. It's called Roadkill Nights. So in about a month, we get to meet up in Pontiac, Michigan, and what we are supposed to be doing is racing street legal drag race against 7 other YouTubers, influencers, whatever you want to call them. But other people are going to be basically building cars. We're going to compete against them with our car. We've got a lot of work to do, as you can see. But what's probably the coolest part about all of this is Dodge is actually sending us a Hellcat red-eye crate engine. We get a crate engine, we get the control system, and we get the complete transmission, 6-speed manual, everything to basically put in a car of our choice. We had a couple, there was a couple rules that we had to stick to. It had to be a Dodge, obviously. A couple other rules were, it pretty much pertains just to the engine. So we have to use the block that we're given. We have to use the blower case we're given, so you can't take it off and put something else on it. And it has to retain the original appearance of the outside. It needs to look like it just came out of the box and went into the car. Now we'll probably be doing a few things to it to try to get a little bit more power out of it. Again, from what we've seen, if you haven't seen it, I mean, if you just Google Roadkill Nights, there's endless videos of what they do. They basically literally close down Woodward Avenue and drag race right on the street legally. And it's about an 1/8 mile drag race. But from what we've seen, we know traction's gonna be important, so it doesn't seem like a ton of horsepower is necessary. So the event that's being put on, it's MOTORTREND presents Roadkill Nights, and it's powered by Dodge. Dodge is the one that's supplying us with the crate engine, the harness, and the trans that's gonna go in this car. And then MOTORTREND is giving us an additional 10 grand to use to build the car, to buy additional parts, anything else we need. So we're probably taking a slightly different approach than some of the other people we're competing against. We are using a 71 Dodge Challenger. As you can see, it's currently about as far apart as it gets. It is ready to go to the paint shop as it sits. We're gonna be showing you some video of the work we've done. And it's kind of the process from start to finish. As you can imagine, this project would typically take us 6 to 8 months. And we found out about this opportunity roughly a month ago and decided to jump on board with it, and this was the car we had. And we were pretty deep into it already. We do have a slight advantage because this car is supposed to be getting a Hellcat, which we already had. So we already have a lot of the mock-up figured out and done. So we didn't necessarily need the engine, because that is the big hang-up. Dodge is sending us an engine, but we don't have it yet. And as of today, this is July 5th. We should get it later this week. It'll leave us roughly 27 days, I think, to build this thing from this stage. Once we get the actual engine. However, like I said, a lot of the mock-up's done, so we don't need it per se. So while this is off getting painted, we can get the motor dressed and figured out for this, because certain things have to change. Oil pan for clearance. Well, it's gonna get all the accessories on. We modify the harness a bit, make some changes and stuff, but the overall exterior bits of the red-eye Hellcat engine is very similar to the Hellcat engine that was going in this. So biggest difference is power. I don't know how familiar you guys are with it, but the engine we are getting, it's the Hellcat red-eye. It's rated at 807 horsepower, which would be a lot for this car. And I'll go through and I'll show you a lot of what we've done. We've reinforced the frame. We've added a lot of structure in places in the back. We've gone through and added a 4-link, got rid of the leaf springs, 355 gears, it's got a true track posi in it. We're not gonna get into mini tubbing this car, we really just don't have the time. We should still be able to run like a 10-inch wide wheel, probably a 315 Mickey Thompson under the back is what we're hoping for. We'll have to do a little bit of measuring there, but we wanna get a good drag radial under there that'll stick. At the end of the day though, this is gonna be a pretty high level car. You know, right now, as you see it, the engine bay's been sandblasted and the whole undercarriage has been sandblasted. The paint on the outside of this car is actually super nice. It's hard to see right now, it's a little dusty. But the fenders, hood, all of that stuff is done. So all we have to do is lightly bodywork the engine bay, because it's gonna get painted the same factory color purple. And then the underside is just gonna get blacked out. So then we'll be able to put the motor in for real, get the engine trans set up. The cooling system's been fit. We're in the process of building a small intercooler tank to store the water. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, there's a lot to do. So we have to rewire the car, we have to plumb the car, we're gonna have to build exhaust once it's done. We do have headers for it, so we don't have to worry about that. It will need to go to a dyno at some point. If we do any work to the motor, I'm sure we're gonna change a pulley or two on it. So then it'll need to see the dyno, and we'll go through HP tuners for that. We'll probably do some work with Tommy over at SRT Auto Works. He's done a lot of work on the Hellcat that we did before when we did the 69 Charger. If you're not familiar with that car, that has to be one of the coolest cars we've ever done from just a drivability standpoint. These engines are truly amazing. You know, we've done some of the other typical swaps that everybody does. I mean, obviously we've done some not so typical swaps, but the ones that we have, I think the Hellcat's probably, it's underrated from a swap standpoint. I'd stick it in everything. I mean, the thing is amazing. The power, the computer system, the tunability. I mean, the amount of power you get for the money, it's unbeatable. You know, and it has a ton of potential on top of it. So our goal is to take this engine that Dodge is giving us. It's weird to say Dodge is giving us an engine. But Dodge is giving us an engine. I wish it was sitting right here right now. I could be leaning on it. So Dodge is giving us this engine, control pack, transmission, clutch, the whole setup. So we should be able to just hook it all together, put it in the car, you know, obviously fuel, coolant, all the other goodies, and fire it up. And I don't know exactly what you guys would do to that setup with 10 grand, or to the car that we're not doing. You can let us know what you think we should do. So I know the event's a little more than a month away from right now, so we got a lot of work to do, as you can see. So head on over to MOTORTREND, and I'll put the link down in the description below. You have to go check out the event. It's gonna be pretty freaking amazing. Pretty wild that they'll close down a whole street just so we can go out there and smoke the tires.